Liam has a miserable and pathetic life. He hasn't been able to spend quality time with his family in almost a decade. His work environment has been hell lately, so the only thing keeping him afloat these days is the love of his wife Mika and his daughter Kanami. When he returns home, Mika welcomes him with affection and tells him that Kanami spent the whole day asking for a dog. Apparently, since she saw a Shiba Inu at a friend's house, she hasn't stopped thinking about having one. Although Liam isn't sure he can afford it, when he sees his daughter asleep, he decides to consider working extra hours to make her happy. The next day he takes Kanami to a pet store, and seeing her so happy confirms that the sacrifice is worth it. Mika is surprised that he agreed, knowing it will only add more responsibilities, but Liam is determined. If his family is happy, he can endure anything. However, he is wrong. At work, his boss scolds him for not submitting a report that Liam had already sent when his boss was out partying. Despite this, he gets blamed. His workdays are a torment. His boss mistreats him, his co-workers steal his credit, and he's blamed for others' mistakes. Even so, coming home to his family gives him the strength to continue. One day, on his way to work, he receives a message from his friend Nita, who tells him about a new video game and asks him to buy him a copy. Liam laughs and agrees. After getting off the train and using GPS to locate the store, he gets lost. As he looks around, something stops him in his tracks. He sees Mika on what looks like a date with another man. He is in shock, especially because she had told him she'd take Kanami to the sports club that day. That night, when he returns home, he casually asks her how her day was. Mika lies and says she went fencing with Kanami. He's about to confront her, but stops himself. He doesn't want to break their apparent happiness, so he convinces himself that maybe he misunderstood what he saw. He goes out to clear his mind, completely shuts down his computer because it won't go into sleep mode, and ends up walking back to the place where he saw Mika. This time no one is there. He feels relieved, but everything shatters when he hears Mika on the phone with the supposed lover. The worst part is that she's with Kanami. Liam clings to the hope that he's just a friend, until the girl calls him dad. His world falls apart. He goes back to work trying to convince himself it was all a misunderstanding. Then, his boss yells at him again for slacking off. Liam explains that his computer doesn't enter sleep mode, and for security, he shuts it down completely during breaks, but his boss just yells louder. At that moment, he gets a call from Mika. Kanami had an accident. Liam runs to the hospital, where a doctor informs them she needs an urgent blood transfusion. He asks for the blood type, and Mika says it's O+, while Liam says he's AB+. The doctor asks for Mika's help, as her blood type is compatible with Kanami's. Intrigued, Liam investigates and discovers it's genetically impossible for a daughter of his to have O+ blood if he's AB+. There's only one conclusion: Kanami is not his biological daughter. Devastated, he demands the truth from Mika, but she accuses him of being a bad father, says he's never around, that his job is worthless, and that in 10 years of marriage she's felt alone. She completely ignores the fact that Kanami isn't his child, and decides to leave with her. Liam tries to stop her, begging in tears, but Kanami, coldly, tells him she prefers her other dad. The next day, at work, his boss calls him to the office and accuses him of embezzlement, says that 50 million yen were transferred from his computer. Even though Liam denies it, the logs incriminate him. He is immediately fired. Mika uses this as an excuse to divorce him and sue him for child support, demanding he pay for a daughter who isn't even his. To avoid jail, Liam agrees to pay the 50 million by working as a laborer, with no future. The only thing that brings him a bit of joy is his friend Nita. He thinks about writing to him to watch a new episode of their favorite show, but backs out of shame. During his lunch break, he starts coughing blood. At night, he can't sleep. He doesn't even have money for a medical consultation. All he can do is lie down and wait for death. Then, a light appears and shows him visions. He discovers that it was his boss who stole the money using his computer, and that the same man is Mika's lover. It was all a conspiracy to ruin him. Mika never loved him. She always saw him as someone weak to take advantage of. The betrayal was complete. Just as Liam begins to question whether what he's seeing is real, a mysterious man appears and confirms everything. He asks if Liam is really going to let those traitors get away with it. Liam, consumed by rage, swears to take revenge, even if it's the last thing he does. The man smiles, pleased with his response, and reveals he's there to offer Liam a new life in another world. Liam, skeptical, asks who he is and why he's offering that. The man simply says he became interested in him because, despite everything, he's a good person. But Liam no longer believes in goodness. If he could start over, he would live for himself. The man, satisfied with his answer, tells him he can reincarnate in the world of his choice. Liam thinks about what Nita mentioned, a world with advanced technology and magic, ruled by nobles and kings. Although he fears being reborn as a mere peasant, the man assures him he will be the son of a count who governs a planet, to make his life a little easier. Relieved by this news, Liam signs the Isekai contract with his final breath. His soul is transported to a new world where, this time, he will live not to please others, but for himself. On the planet Hydra today is Liam's 5th birthday, and to celebrate his mother has organized a party in his honor. She has also prepared a special gift for him, so she tells Liam to follow her, activating a floating spell under his feet. Liam imitates her, and upon reaching the next room he discovers a huge cake next to an enormous box. Excited, he tears open the gift wrap and finds a cube inside. His mother explains that this is the customization tool for his very own AI-powered maid. With that remote he can choose any features he wants, and then she will be sent to manufacturing. At that moment his father arrives with another gift, the entire Banfield domain. Liam is shocked to hear he will be named Count. His father confirms it, but with one condition: moving to the Imperial planet and receiving a monthly allowance. Blinded by power, Liam signs the contract without reading it. His parents leave and Liam focuses on the fact he is now officially a count, unaware he has been tricked by someone who feeds on suffering and pain. Meanwhile, the guide decides to create more chaos before returning to his kingdom. He focuses on Mike and Liam's boss, who are at a restaurant. The boss expresses guilt over ruining Liam, but Mika tells him he feels no pity. Just then the police arrive and arrest the boss with evidence of his crime, leaving Mika in misery. The guide delights in the chaos and plans to send Liam to another world, eager to see him suffer in a longer, more miserable life. Meanwhile, in that new world, a planet is under attack by pirates. Just when they think they've won, several soldiers explode. Princess Christiana of the Sacred Kingdom of Labe enters the battle. Her intervention turns the tide, forcing the pirates to flee. But Christiana orders a continued assault to teach them a lesson. Elsewhere, Liam receives his new AI maid. She arrives inside a doll, and the butler explains that he must touch her to activate her. Liam does so, and she gracefully lands. Introducing herself as Amagi, the butler informs him that she will be his personal assistant and will require weekly maintenance, but Liam is more focused on checking if all his specifications were followed. When the butler scolds him, Liam asks Amagi to accompany him to his room for a closer inspection, leaving the butler concerned. Hours later, as Amagi gives him a massage, the butler asks what happened. Liam tells him not to worry, he may look like a child, but he has 36 years of experience. However, the butler explains that in this world, that's still considered a child. Amagi adds that here, the lifespan is 600 years, and one isn't an adult until 100. Liam is delighted, knowing he'll have plenty of time for experiences. The butler warns him that growing attached to an AI could bring trouble since the Empire hates AIs. Liam asks why, and the butler recounts that long ago, there was a war where AIs enslaved humans, but heroes regained their freedom and founded the Empire, which is why nobles despise AIs. Liam then asks why his mother would give him an AI. The butler confesses that he was supposed to keep it a secret, but since Liam is now the new count, he reveals the truth. His parents abandoned him and left him with the entire Banfield family debt. Liam's great-grandfather was a great man, but his father ruined everything. Now the family owes enormous amounts of money, has lost its resources, and its industries have collapsed. In a bar on the planet Hydra, some residents discuss how their new lord is just a child. They remember how the last one imposed crushing taxes and hope this time will be different. Meanwhile, Liam tries to process everything. He realizes he was likely conceived just to inherit that debt, but he decides he won't let himself be exploited again. He looks at Amagi and asks her to join him in securing a bright future. She happily agrees. Liam feels happy to have someone he can trust. To ensure her loyalty, he imposes his own laws on her. First, she cannot harm him. Second, she must obey him unless it contradicts the first law. And third, she must protect herself unless it conflicts with the other two. Then he announces his plan to restore prosperity to the Banfield domain. Amagi runs a search and suggests using an educational capsule that implants 10 years worth of knowledge in 6 months while also improving his physical condition. Liam agrees, but someone needs to manage the domain in his absence, so he temporarily grants Amagi control. The butler protests, but Liam reassures him that Amagi wouldn't do anything wrong and that there are no laws against it. Before entering the capsule, Liam asks Amagi if she can feel emotions. She replies that she isn't sure, but when he invited her to join him, her system registered an overload, which she interprets as happiness. Satisfied with her answer, Liam entrusts everything to Amagi and enters the capsule to begin his training. After some time the educational capsule finally opens and Amagi is the one who greets him, so he asks her how long it's been since he entered the capsule and Amagi tells him 2 years have passed. After getting dressed our protagonist listens as Amagi explains the current economic state of the Banfield territory and everything seems to have gone well, which leads Liam to thank her for all the effort she's put in. Liam mentions he wants to take a look around the territory, so Amagi decides to first show him the armored docks. In fact, this is the first time Liam sees the territory with his own eyes and finds the combat suits particularly fascinating. Curiously he asks Amagi if he can try one on and she happily arranges a test for him. She explains that the armor handles basic movements automatically, so all Liam has to do is imagine the action he wants to perform and the suit will execute it. He decides to try it, and once the suit's systems activate Liam discovers he can move freely with it, expressing his desire to test it in combat. Our boy is surprised when Amagi tells him she can arrange a mock battle for him. Shortly after Moss, the head of the planet's defense force, arrives to face Liam. As soon as the fight begins Liam lunges forward and attacks Moss, who blocks the strike and pretends to be defeated. Liam immediately realizes he's holding back and doesn't like it one bit. He orders him to fight seriously, and since it's a direct order from his lord, Moss has no choice. When Liam attacks again, Moss takes his sword, easily disarms him and throws him to the ground. Stunned by how easily he lost, Liam tries to understand what happened. Amagi clarifies that the suit's movements depend entirely on the user's mental visualization, meaning experienced fighters like Moss have far superior control. Because of that defeat, Liam orders Brian to get him a combat instructor. Brian tries to convince him it's unnecessary, but Liam stands firm in his decision. In his past life he was always crushed by the strong, and now he plans to live as a villainous lord, so he must become strong. Some time later Liam meets a man named Yasushi. He's delighted, thinking he looks incredibly cool, so he introduces himself and asks him to become his instructor. Yasushi accepts the role, but Amagi feels hiring him might not be wise since he seems suspicious. Our protagonist doesn't deny he looks shady, but since he acts like a true samurai he's willing to overlook it. Following Amagi's advice, Liam asks for a quick demonstration. Yasushi agrees and takes them to a forest clearing where he already has several wooden posts prepared. Before starting he informs them he'll show his secret technique called the Way of Lightning and won't repeat it. Liam asks Amagi to record the event, then Yasushi takes his stance, draws and sheathes his sword in an instant. The surrounding posts fall split in half. Our protagonist is impressed and asks Amagi to replay the video in slow motion, but no matter how much they slow it down they can't see the movement. Liam deduces Yasushi moved so fast the cameras couldn't capture it, reinforcing his admiration. He asks to become his disciple. That night Yasushi returns to the clearing laughing. It was all a cheap trick. He had prepared the posts to fall at the right moment. Thanks to that farce he secured easy money without effort. Meanwhile Princess Christiana is on her way to meet Pirate Goas and negotiate peace. Although he was the one who suggested the truce, he mocks her for coming alone. Christiana warns him that if he makes a move the entire Alliance fleet will destroy his ship, but Goas reveals he's managed to betray several Alliance members. At that moment he receives a report the pirates have surrounded her home planet. His own ships are aiming at hers. With no choice she's forced to listen to Goa's demands. Back with Liam, he's spent 3 years training under Yasushi with no results in the Way of Lightning. He asks Amagi if there's any way to learn the technique, but she doesn't know. Yasushi has only taught him basic fundamentals and earned a lot of money for it. He fears Liam might discover the deception. That night Liam asks Yasushi to teach him the technique. Yasushi makes up an excuse to quit. Liam begs forgiveness for his insolence and Yasushi forgives him. When Liam leaves, Yasushi sighs in relief. Meanwhile Christiana has been captured by Goas, who shows her the fleet aiming at her home planet. Horrified she watches as it's destroyed before her eyes. Back home frustrated, Liam asks Amagi for the monthly report. Although the debt hasn't changed, production is growing. Liam is glad he trusted her but notices the welfare program's results are low. He requests the reports and discovers corruption. He summons the responsible official who tries to lie, but Liam exposes him, though the noble tried blaming an already executed subordinate. Furious, Liam draws his sword and beheads him. Amagi advises against executing all corrupt nobles as it would disrupt administration. She proposes using dolls to govern temporarily. Liam agrees later, ready to train in his combat suit. Yasushi warns him that using automated suits will prevent him from becoming an exceptional warrior. Liam asks Moss about an alternative suit and Moss mentions a fully manual one that almost no one can operate. The reason Yasushi originally came up with this idea was because Liam was actually becoming a skilled swordsman, and if he ever mastered swordsmanship, Yasushi would lose his job as a fraud. Rummaging through the warehouse he found an old mech, so he decided to trick Liam into using it. Knowing he would never be able to master it, his plan worked. Now Liam was completely dedicated to training with the mech, and although mastering it could give him an advantage over automatic mech users, he first needed to repair it. Brian was happy about his dedication, though he didn't understand why he insisted on such a difficult model. Surprised that he had spent 2 days cutting a post, Liam explained he was trying to recreate Yasushi's secret technique, determined to master it. Though Brian suspected it was a scam, he knew he couldn't convince Liam otherwise, so he let him continue. That same day, Amagi went to the loading area to attend to Liam's request. Though she suspected Yasushi was a fraud, she respected Liam's decision, but she couldn't perform the maintenance, so they looked for a specialist. The next day, Liam and Amagi met Nias. When Nias saw Amagi, she got excited, obsessed with androids and fascinated by Amagi's advanced model. Liam felt uncomfortable and told her that was enough. Then he took her to the hangar and asked if she could repair the mech. Nias said it was almost finished. She suggested buying a new one, but Liam refused, determined to use that model. Nias warned there were no more spare parts, but Liam was willing to pay whatever it took. Delighted by the opportunity, Nias accepted the job. Then, Liam mentioned he wanted the mech to have a final attack like a rocket punch. Nias explained it was a ridiculous idea, but Liam insisted, so she agreed. Just then Yasushi entered. Upon seeing Nias he was delighted. He tried to approach her, but was ignored. Annoyed, he subjected Liam to brutal training, making him balance on a log in a lake blindfolded, while throwing tennis balls at him, claiming it would unlock his mind's eye. Meanwhile, after Goaz took over Christiana's ship, she and her crew were captured. Goaz enjoyed tormenting her, explaining he would take her to his treasure planet to add her to his collection. He took her to a lab where Christiana saw a deformed mass that had been one of her crewmates. Goaz told the scientist Christiana would be his new pet, planning to rip out her eye and implant it in his hand. While Christiana suffered, on Liam's planet the economy had improved under his leadership, though the citizens didn't know he had spent heavily on the mech, which Nias had restored. Proud of the results, she showed Liam the controls. The cockpit had been expanded. When activated, the mech registered Liam as its pilot. Upon taking the controls the mech collapsed, lacking automatic balance, but Liam managed to stabilize it and move forward. Surprising Nias, she explained that imagination was crucial for the mech's operation. Liam tried to concentrate, but got distracted thinking about Nias. The mech acted accordingly, moving inappropriately. Everyone thought Liam had indecent thoughts. Yasushi became furious, while Brian felt relieved. Liam tried to explain, but the mech kept making pelvic thrusts. Yasushi, vengeful, threw more tennis balls at him. Then Liam returned to practicing the way of the Flash. Though he swung his sword, he couldn't cut the post, fearing he lacked talent, but Amagi assured him the problem was Yasushi's teachings. Liam interpreted this as needing to trust him more. Remembering magic existed, he concluded he should use it. After months of practice he managed to cut the post with magic. He called Yasushi to show him. Yasushi, skeptical, watched as Liam cut the post from a distance. Struggling to maintain his facade, told him he had done well, but still had a long way to go. Then panicked, fearing Liam had turned the lie into reality. Some time later, Liam was informed one of his resource planets was under pirate attack, the only one not seized. Thanks to Amagi who had established plants there, Liam asked about strategy and Amagi suggested a surprise attack from the blind spot. He liked the idea, coordinated the fleet and decided to fight personally. Brian tried to dissuade him, but Liam was determined not to let them steal from him, plus he wanted to test his skills. The fleet arrived quickly. Amagi loaded the mech into the rail cannon and shot Liam toward the surface. The pirates were finishing off the defenses when Liam descended, splitting one in half. The others tried to surround him, but Liam anticipated their attacks thanks to the tennis ball training. When shot at, he summoned an energy rifle and eliminated them, then used his hidden technique, a mana explosion that annihilated many enemies. The remaining pirates fled, but Liam wasn't about to let them escape. He shouted rocket punch and summoned a large missile that destroyed the fugitives. Though frustrated it wasn't what he had imagined. Finally, he received a transmission from Amagi, who reported they had destroyed 30% of the pirate fleet, captured several ships and 60% had escaped, though he would have preferred eliminating them all. Liam was satisfied and congratulated Amagi on her work. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more epic content.